A Lincoln County jury convicted Russ Faria for stabbing his wife 55 times and leaving a steak knife buried in her neck. The reason? Prosecutors say it was the ultimate role play drawn up years earlier by a group of gamers. Every one of those gamers have now come forward challenging prosecutors. Set an innocent man free or come after them.
I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, from reading the stories in the newspaper, from seeing the stuff online, hearing things on the news, it was pretty damning.
Since Russ Faria's arrest in 2011, these four people thought they could have been sitting right next to a murderer.
All you're hearing is, and we were hearing from investigators, open and shut case.
Michael Corbin, Angelia Hulian, Brandon Sweeney, and Marshall Bach all told detectives they were with Russ Faria from 6 to 9 p.m. the night Betsy was murdered.
For the longest time, like I even said, I thought Russ did it before he came out and hung out with us.
Then they learned at trial, prosecutors narrowed Betsy's time of death to a time between 7:20 and 9:41 p.m. Even convict Russ Faria's attorney says he did not know prosecutors would suddenly accuse cooperating witnesses.
The state alleged that 4 innocent people conspired in murder. If these people aren't innocent, then why aren't they charged? Bigger question is, why won't the state go on record and say that to you? Because there's nothing to support it. Just like there's nothing to support that Russell Faria had anything to do with this.
In closing arguments at trial, Lincoln County Prosecutor Leah Askey called Betsy's murder the ultimate role play. Askey told jurors Russ Faria brought a murder plot to his friends. She said they all set up the alibi, using Brandon Sweeney to play a key role. Askey suggested Sweeney kept Russ's cell phone so that it would ping an O'Fallon at 8:57 p.m. She said Sweeney then drove to the Arby's to get this receipt stamped 909 so that Russ could kill his wife 30 minutes away.
That really sickens my stomach because I tried to help him the whole time. Be honest and truthful, just trying to find what happened that night, to be honest with you.
If we're guilty of something, we should be arrested. Leah Askey, probably in particular, is not going to like what we're doing here. But we don't want to be here.
It made me sick. It really did. I just can't believe it. I didn't think things like that happened.
Faith in the justice system and authority figures, there is no faith in them anymore. You see something like this happen, I don't know, you almost go around town wondering, like, who's going to try to screw me over?
It almost makes you second guess working with authorities.
I don't want to be having to talk to you as nice as a guy as you are, Chris. But Leah Askey put us here by saying that our friend committed a crime that he could not possibly have committed. I mean, he was within 8 foot of us that night. There is no way he committed this crime.
Police report finding no blood on Russ Faria. A crime lab report shows DNA testing revealed Betsy's blood on the murder weapon. The DNA lab report continues. Russell Faria is excluded as the source of these profiles. I made repeated attempts to get answers from Prosecutor Askey, even writing the Attorney General's office, which assisted in convicting Russ Faria. Askey finally responded with this email. I cannot comment on anything regarding this case until all of the defendant's appeals have been exhausted. I have stated this every way possible on numerous occasions. I appreciate your zeal. However, this will serve as my answer to all such questions and future inquiries.
This is just the beginning of our co-investigation with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Robert, tell me about this phone call a juror received right after the verdict.
Well, one of the jurors was on his way home from the trial, and he got a call from a friend of his who said, let me tell you, that guy's innocent.
Who was this, and what was that about?
She's an employee in the courthouse. She sat through part of the trial, and as he described it to me, she saw what the jurors weren't allowed to see.
And what was he thinking when he heard this from this woman?
I think it kind of blew him away, and I think he's been thinking about it a lot. It's brought up some issues that he has with the justice system. He's sort of hoping that they got the right guy, but he's also glad that there's an appeal, and he's glad that somebody's looking into it.
Tell me about the first vote coming out of closing statements.
Yeah, as soon as the jurors went back, they voted, and it was 6-6.
And what changed that?
About 4 hours of talking. You know, they did discuss another suspect, somebody that it was clear to jurors that Russ's lawyer was pointing at somebody else. They discussed that person, and one of the jurors told me that he essentially talked them out of it.
What was it that made them feel good about their final decision?
Well, the 3 jurors that I was able to reach and talk to all didn't believe his alibi. They also mentioned the fact that 55 stab wounds indicates rage. I said, there's rage there. A lot of the jurors couldn't get past the bloody slippers, and they couldn't get past what police said was some indication that there was a trail of blood leading to a kitchen drawer.
What did one of the jurors say about an appeal and how that weighed in on their decision?
Well, one of the jurors said that they knew there was going to be an appeal, and that eased their mind somewhat in coming to a final decision that essentially it would be reviewed.
So what happens next? Who will play the key role in fighting the appeal as our Fox 2 St. Louis Post-Dispatch investigation continues?
I know that I'm innocent. Mr. Schwartz has told me, you know, he knows in his mind and in his heart that I'm innocent.